Welcome. Today we are looking at Introduction to Chemistry. This is a key topic in your chemistry exams for SS1. Pay close attention. Let us begin. First, let me explain what chemistry is. Chemistry is the branch of science that deals with the composition, structure, properties, and reactions of matter. Matter is anything that has mass and occupies space. Chemistry is often called the central science because it connects physics with other natural sciences like biology and geology. It explains how substances interact, how energy is transferred, and how new materials are formed. Chemistry is not just a subject you study in school. It is a part of everyday life. Every time you cook food, take a medicine, or use a cleaning product, you are experiencing chemistry. The air you breathe, the water you drink, and the clothes you wear are all made of chemicals. Understanding chemistry helps you understand the world around you. Now, let me explain the branches of chemistry. Chemistry is a vast field. It is divided into several branches. The first branch is organic chemistry. Organic chemistry is the study of carbon-containing compounds. Carbon is unique because it can form long chains and complex structures. Organic compounds are found in living things. They include carbohydrates, proteins, fats, and DNA. They also include fuels like petrol and plastics. The second branch is inorganic chemistry. Inorganic chemistry is the study of compounds that do not contain carbon. Examples include salts, metals, minerals, and gases like oxygen and nitrogen. Inorganic chemistry is important for understanding industrial processes, material science, and environmental chemistry. The third branch is physical chemistry. Physical chemistry deals with the physical properties and energy changes of substances. It combines chemistry with physics. Physical chemists study topics like thermodynamics, kinetics, quantum mechanics, and spectroscopy. They explain why reactions happen and how fast they occur. The fourth branch is analytical chemistry. Analytical chemistry involves the identification and quantification of substances. Analytical chemists develop methods to detect and measure chemicals in samples. This is important in medicine, environmental monitoring, and forensic science. The fifth branch is biochemistry. Biochemistry studies chemical processes in living organisms. It focuses on the molecules that make up cells, such as proteins, enzymes, and DNA. Biochemistry is essential for understanding health, disease, and genetics. The sixth branch is environmental chemistry. Environmental chemistry focuses on chemical processes in the environment. It studies pollutants, their effects, and how they can be controlled. Environmental chemists work on issues like air pollution, water contamination, and climate change. Understanding these branches helps you appreciate the scope of chemistry. Now, let me explain the importance of chemistry. Chemistry is essential for everyday life. It explains the food we eat, the medicines we take, the clothes we wear, and the materials we use. Chemistry is involved in the production of fertilizers that increase crop yields. Without fertilizers, the world's population could not be fed. Chemistry is involved in the development of drugs that treat diseases. Penicillin, aspirin, and vaccines are all products of chemistry. Chemistry is involved in the manufacturing of plastics, paints, and fuels. Plastics are used in everything from packaging to electronics. Chemistry also helps us understand environmental issues like pollution and climate change. Chemists develop ways to reduce emissions and clean up contaminants. Without chemistry, many of the conveniences of modern life would not exist. Chemistry also creates jobs. Chemists work in research, healthcare, industry, agriculture, and government. Studying chemistry opens many career opportunities. Now, let me explain the scientific method. The scientific method is a systematic approach to solving problems and gaining knowledge. It is used by chemists and all scientists. The first step is observation. Observation is noticing something interesting. It could be a phenomenon, a pattern, or a problem. The second step is asking a question. The question should be specific and testable. For example, why does iron rust? The third step is forming a hypothesis. A hypothesis is a proposed explanation for the observation. It is an educated guess. For example, iron rusts because it reacts with oxygen in the air. The fourth step is conducting an experiment. An experiment is a test of the hypothesis. It should be controlled and repeatable. The experiment should collect data. The fifth step is analyzing the data. Analysis is examining the results. Look for patterns or relationships. The sixth step is drawing a conclusion. The conclusion is deciding whether the hypothesis is supported by the data. If the hypothesis is supported, it may become a theory. If not, the hypothesis is revised and tested again. The scientific method is a cycle. It is not a straight line. Scientists often go back and repeat steps. The scientific method is used to discover new knowledge and solve problems. Now let me explain laboratory safety. Chemistry experiments can involve dangerous chemicals. Safety is very important. Always wear safety goggles to protect your eyes. Chemicals can splash and cause blindness. Wear a lab coat to protect your clothing. Tie back long hair. Hair can catch fire or become contaminated. Do not eat or drink in the laboratory. Food and drinks can absorb chemicals. Handle chemicals carefully. Read labels before using chemicals. Never use an unlabeled chemical. Know the location of safety equipment. Fire extinguishers, first aid kits, and eye wash stations should be easily accessible. In case of an accident, tell your teacher immediately. Do not try to handle it yourself. Never taste or smell chemicals directly. Use a wafting motion to smell a chemical. Dispose of chemicals properly. Do not pour them down the sink unless instructed. Following safety rules prevents injuries and saves lives. Now, let me explain chemical symbols and formulas. Chemical symbols are abbreviations for elements. Each element has a unique symbol. The first letter is always capital. The second letter, if there is one, is lowercase. For example, H is hydrogen, O is oxygen, Na is sodium, and Cl is chlorine. Symbols are based on the element's name. Some symbols are from the Latin name. For example, Na is from natrium, and Fe is from ferrum. You must memorize the symbols of common elements. Chemical formulas show the composition of compounds. For example, H2O is water. It has 2 hydrogen atoms and 1 oxygen atom. NaCl is sodium chloride, also known as table salt. CO2 is carbon dioxide. It has 1 carbon atom and 2 oxygen atoms. Formulas tell us the elements and the number of atoms in a compound. The subscript number tells the number of atoms. If there is no subscript, there is 1 atom. Learning symbols and formulas is essential for writing chemical equations. A chemical equation shows the reactants and products of a reaction. For example, 2H2 plus O2 equals 2H2O. This equation shows that hydrogen reacts with oxygen to form water. The coefficients show the number of molecules. The equation must be balanced. The number of atoms on each side must be equal. Balancing equations is a fundamental skill in chemistry. A common exam question asks you to define chemistry and explain its importance. Here is a sample answer. Chemistry is the branch of science that deals with the composition, structure, properties, and reactions of matter. It is important because it explains everyday phenomena, helps produce medicines and fertilizers, and contributes to technological advancement. Without chemistry, modern life would not be possible. Chemistry also helps solve environmental problems and creates jobs. Another exam question asks you to list the branches of chemistry. Here is your answer. The branches of chemistry include organic chemistry, inorganic chemistry, physical chemistry, analytical chemistry, biochemistry, and environmental chemistry. Each branch focuses on different aspects of matter and its interactions. Organic chemistry studies carbon compounds. Inorganic chemistry studies non-carbon compounds. Physical chemistry studies energy and properties. Analytical chemistry studies identification and measurement. Biochemistry studies life processes. Environmental chemistry studies the environment. Another exam question asks you to describe the steps of the scientific method. Here is your answer. The steps are observation, question, hypothesis, experiment, analysis, and conclusion. Observation is noticing something. A question is asked about the observation. A hypothesis is a proposed explanation. An experiment tests the hypothesis. Data is analyzed. A conclusion is drawn. If the hypothesis is not supported, it is revised and tested again. The scientific method is a cycle used to gain knowledge. Let me give you a quick summary. Chemistry is the study of matter and its changes. It has several branches and is essential for everyday life. The scientific method guides chemical research. Laboratory safety is crucial. Chemical symbols and formulas are the language of chemistry. Practice these concepts. When you have them down, move to topic 2.